Hey Tacoma, this is Wally here. We're back here at Swan Creek. We were here last spring, but we're back here today because there's salmon here. So we are here with some specialists that we'll introduce to you in a little bit that are gonna teach us all about what's going on. They're doing some research around the salmon that have come back to Swan Creek. So stay tuned. I'm excited for this adventure together.
Tacoma Public Schools acknowledges that we are on the traditional, ancestral, and historical lands of the Puyallup tribe of Indians. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup tribe. This acknowledgement serves as a first step in honoring our tribal neighbors and partners who have inhabited this region since time immemorial, and whom we give thanks for allowing us passage to their lands. We shall intentionally create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor Indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities.
All right, friends, so we are here with Catherine. Can you tell us what your title is and what you do?
Yeah, so I am a senior at the University of Washington. I'm studying environmental science right now, and I'm doing my capstone research with Eric here.
And this is Eric McDonald.
Hey everyone, I'm an associate teaching professor at UW Tacoma, and we are here to have fun with salmon.
So tell us a little bit about what we're gonna do,
Yes.
what we're gonna see, and then we'll get going.
So we're surveying salmon in Swan Creek right now. Typically we come out to do the survey on coho because we're doing some research on pre-spawn mortality when it comes to urban runoff. This year we have seen a lot of chum, so that is likely what we'll be discussing today. The salmon that we'll be referring to today will be chum salmon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna go get in the stream.
We're gonna go get in the stream.
I am
and
not, friends. I'm staying out of the stream.
We have the gear to do so. And we'll keep tally of the live and the dead salmon that we find, and then those numbers can help us with future projections of population and kind of how their health is going.
Oh, look. Let's go see. Oh, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is a carcass that we found today, unmarked, the tail's still intact. And salmon, after spawning, this is kind of their destiny. So this is what we expect to see. So we have, about 2 weeks ago was when we saw our peak of the run. And then in these weeks leading up to today, we have seen more carcasses, which is kind of to be expected, especially with the numbers. Whenever we find a carcass, what we do is we like to identify the sex. So from this one here, I'm gonna say it's a female. The tail's a little bit beat up right here, and that's from creating the reds that they lay their eggs in. You can see like some of the scales have been worn off. If you kind of lean her up forward, she has more of a smushed face, and her nose is a little bit wider there up on the top. And then she's got smaller teeth, but sometimes those can fool us. So if we are not sure, we will cut her open and look at the anatomy of her inside, see if there's any eggs, if there's testes or ovaries, that sort of thing. And this is a female, as I thought. She did not spawn. So those are eggs that are inside here. As you can see, I'll pull them out for you.
I'm getting blood. So there's, friends, in 5th grade, this is what was brought to you, was eggs, but they were fertilized.
Yes.
She was not able to complete spawning for whatever reason. There's lots of reasons that happens.
There is, yeah.
That carcass will provide food for all the bugs in the area, mammals, raccoons will come down, coyotes will come down and eat that. You can find a lot of nutrients even in the trees. They get a significant flush of nutrients every fall when these salmon die and the carcasses decompose. So they truly feed the whole ecosystem. It's like this huge transfer of nutrients every fall, and it fertilizes the whole area. So lots of different organisms benefit from these fish being here. And actually, the nutrients here that feed the trees create more shade, which actually protects the next generation of salmon. So she did some good, right? Even though she didn't necessarily get a chance to actually spawn.
Oh!
So see how previously we were talking about how we cut those tails off to mark them? That's what I just did on this female here, cut the tail off, we'll put her back. That way next week, whenever we come out, we might see her again. We don't want to count her because we don't want to double count. We want to make sure that we're getting the most accurate numbers as possible.
Okay, friends, we're here with Zaire. She's part of our group today. And you had a question. What was your question?
How do salmon change colors?
How do salmon change colors?
When they come to the end of their life there is a fungus that grows on them. What happens is when salmon take that transfer from salt water into fresh water, their immune system takes a tank. And they just start to, like from the second that they transfer in, they just start to kind of go downhill. So it's a very quick thing, like spawn successfully and then die. So they're on a mission the second that they hit fresh water. And that color change that you see is a fungus that's just kind of starting to take him over because his immune system's going down. It's really just kind of nature doing its thing as expected. It doesn't hurt him from what we know. It doesn't hurt him. It seems like a mutualistic thing, and so that's kind of why they change color. It's just their immune system starting to go down and nature taking its course. Does that make sense? Yeah? You've got some great questions.
You're gonna
So
get
interesting.
it. Oh, look
yeah,
at that!
Bring it on up, bud.
Way to go, young man.
Watch your step. Be careful. Take your time.
Did you just find
No
that?
rush.
Yeah, he pulled it out and he said, I'm going to get it. Okay. Oh my God.
Now that looks very different than the
It
last
sure
one we
does.
saw.
And why do you think that this one looks different
down
than the
here.
last one?
What do you think, Zaire? Why
do
do
you
you
think-
think it's different?
What do you notice about up here?
The teeth are different.
The teeth, they're quite bigger, huh? So the last one was a female. What do you think this one might be?
A male.
Yeah. So all that I want you to do is just hold right here, okay? Right there, all right? And I'm gonna hold your hand with it, okay? Because I just want to be careful. Do you feel that, how it's going through? Yeah? I'm gonna just do the rest because I don't want it to pop, okay? Thanks, bud. You wanna hold it? You wanna chuck it back in there for the other fishies?
There you go.
Woo!
There you go.
Oh,
Found a big one.
Oh, whoa. Do you think that's a male or a female? Those bottom teeth are
Yeah.
pretty large, but he's got a
Really?
wider head.
He does.
Tail's not beat up.
Well, is it? No.
No. Ooh,
Look at this one.
Is it eggs?
no, that's a male.
I think it'd be kind of cool to look at that male and female head. I think it's a good example of the shape of their head and how you can see right here, you can see these larger teeth right here that have kind of been covered by that fungus that she was talking about that happens as soon as they hit fresh water. That fungus starts to accumulate on them. And that female, her teeth are tiny. They look like little tiny slivers of teeth. So very different tooth structure in those two animals.
And a male. Female. That one's a little smelly.
All right, so what we see here are some indications that we might have a red, and we tend to be very cautious whenever we see some of those indications because we don't want to disrupt that area. So what it is the female salmon spawned and laid her eggs right here, and then she went up a little bit further, and we call it the tail spill. She dug and used her tail to dig and cover up that area with small pebbles and rocks. And these rocks, if you look, they look pretty large, and they're able to move those. So it's pretty impressive. That's why whenever we see those females with their tails all beat up, it's because they're moving large rocks to cover up that nesting area where they laid their eggs. See how she can just sit still in the water right there?
Wow.
Yeah. The water just flows right through her, very hydrodynamic.
That's a big one.
So see how she's not
Salmon might be like the best fish.
We're hoping.
She's not very lively, but she's alive though. Isn't that cool, bud?
do you think she's already spawned?
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I'd have to honestly, we'd have to like go up and look at her. But since she's so close to death, we'd like to believe that she did.
And there's
Oh yeah, there he is.
Is that 4 that we've counted, Eric?
Yep, it's bigger. That means it's the
3,
male,
4.
huh?
4.
Don't get in there, Zion. You can go get him.
Yeah, we don't want to touch that one. We don't want to disrupt what they're doing.
if that female has a bunch of fat reserves, she's going to make it for a while. The general rule of thumb down here is within 10 days of them getting into the river, they're going to be dead.
So that salmon, friends, is at the very end of their life cycle.
You want to come see a guy? He's pretty much to the end of his life cycle, but I can show you him. We're not going to touch him though, okay? We're going to let him finish out his life in peace. But do you see how his gills are still moving? And I think it might be a female. Look at her gills. What do you think?
All right, friends, thank you so much for being here with us today. We learned a ton from both of you and Zaire too. Man, amazing questions. Thank you for having those awesome questions. So, thank you for being with us. We look forward to seeing you next time. We hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Bye for now, friends.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye, thank you.